I just wanted to let you know
like
that we live now.
That worked
right,
for
right, right. Like I said, when my man get on, he just be on.
I need him to get on. I need him to get on. Get on. All right, let me go ahead and do this thing. Let's see. Let me edit the post a little bit.
Did you get my fingers?
Y'all can keep talking. I'm just here.
Oh yeah, you good. You know how I do.
Hey, y'all, you sent me up yet? We live? You jumped too fast. You weren't ready yet.
I just set you up right now. But
all right, cool.
I jumped too fast on you. Man,
you jumped in there. Well, at least I wasn't ready.
So, yeah, I'm ready. Let's see how we got everything going. I just set you up right now. Still wait for that gentleman to come on, man.
Yeah.
So, to everyone, it's a three-headed monster coming to you again. Interesting conversation we're gonna have today. We're waiting for another gentleman to come in, who actually brought up this question, and spreading ignorance is worse than spreading racism. I want to hear what this gentleman has to say about this, so we can, dive in on this and go forth. But it's gonna be kind of interesting, y'all. So, three-headed monster again. Me, brother Tut. My bad, King Tut. That make sure I say King. And brother Jerome. We're gonna do what we do. We're coming to you live. Check us again. Check us out on our YouTube page. Share it. Three-Headed Monster Podcast with the Three-Headed Anubius on it. Put your comments in. Share, and let's indulge into this conversation of understanding what it is. So, go ahead, Jerome. Something that everybody need to hear before, every time we start up.
No doubt. What's going on, Facebook family? What's going on, YouTube family? We want to welcome everybody in for this discussion. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, share, as well as Facebook. Please share. Please like the comments section in the comment section. As always, everything that we talk about is strictly our opinions, strictly our thoughts that we're sharing with you. Please not believe anything that we tell you. Take everything that you hear, go research it, go find the truth, find the facts, come back, let's discuss it, let's build upon it, and let's go forward. So no further ado, we'll jump right in it. What's up, B? Uh-oh, he done went out again. I don't know what's up with B's internet.
How does he start a show like this? Like this is like like second, third time, right? Come on, B, start the show off. Dang. Well, carrying
what's
on. Carrying on. There we go, B.
I don't know why this thing keep kicking me off, man, when we start, man. Maybe it's trying to tell us something. I don't know, man.
Hey, it's got a time regulation that when you start, it's gonna go out.
Yo, what's going on, y'all?
Yeah, we already kicked it over to you. What's up, B, again?
Yo, what's going on, y'all? What's up, Facebook family? What's up, YouTube family? Yo, like I said, we bringing it live to y'all on this interesting topic, and we gonna see what we can do. Hopefully, we can build. Hopefully, people can get with a certain understanding. We don't really want emotions involved in this, but we just want the people to bring some realness to it. What's up, Tut? How you doing, man?
Peace, peace. How's everybody doing? Peace and love to everybody. King Tut representing the South. Come to bring that fire. I come from them fire letters. And we always rise like the phoenix. So let's dig in.
No doubt.
All right, go ahead, Jerome. I'm gonna let you jump on this one, John. Start this off. Let's see. You be the lead off. You be the lead off on this one. Like I said, we're still waiting on another person, though.
Yeah, when they come in, we just let them do their thing. But man, it's a big topic, big subject. Ignorance, this lack of knowledge. I think it's a contradiction to say ignorance can be taught, but it's seemingly it can be pushed upon our people, and our people can take this ignorance and push it as truth, push it as life. It's so big, I don't even know what part to go into. Culture?
No. If you don't mind, I just had an epiphany.
I like it. Let's go. Roll it out there. Roll it out.
Okay. Starting off. Now we know ignorance. Who likes to be called ignorant? Who? Nobody wants to be ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Now, the issue is recognizing when you're being ignorant or recognizing your own ignorance.
Ooh, interesting. Keep going, dude. You say you had an epiphany. Come on, keep going, keep rolling.
Well, that was the epiphany. You know what I'm saying? I'll carry on. I just was going. I threw that. I threw that pitch out. But okay. Recognizing when you're being ignorant. Or recognizing your own ignorance. That's vital, because often, as we see here in time, and even when you reflect on yourself, because we've all played the fool, we've all had a share of ignorance, and thank goodness it hasn't cost you your life if you're here to view it with us today. Thanks for everybody for viewing. So thank goodness that ignorance didn't cost you your life. Because one mistake or one ignorance, it could be fatal. Now, recognizing when you're in ignorance or recognizing ignorance itself. So you have to defining ignorance is to complete. If you can continue to do the same thing and expect a different result, this is a form of ignorance. So if Jerome did it and Brian did it and then I did it, and then you think you're gonna do it a certain way and get and then you get a design, you get the result that we got, or it's inevitable what that is. And then if you're looking for a different outcome, then that may display your ignorance.
Well, and I think too, because the brother was talking about the definition of ignorance.
Actually, I'm about to pull it up right now.
I mean, we know what the definition of ignorance. You can definitely, read that, bring it up. But I think the things that are ignorant, things that need to be brought to light. Well, there you go.
And make that the whole page so I can see it.
Can you not see it, Tut?
Well, I can see it, but I can't. I mean, blow it up to where the depth. Yeah, there's the whole page. Now I still can't see it. Okay, then read it to me.
Seriously?
Yeah. Please, sir.
Yeah,
It's
read
a
it to 'em.
noun.
People
That
may
lack
be on their
of
phone.
knowledge, the lack of knowledge or information. All right, that's one of them, which is something that basically.
Let's go there.
Let's go there.
Let's go there.
You want to go with there?
Why not?
Okay.
How else
Hey.
do you establish a foundation, you know what I'm saying, without a start? So let's start. The lack of knowledge or information. Now, how do you receive information? You know, as the gods, this is what we call doing the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And the way to receive that information is to look, listen, and observe. So if you're in ignorance, recognizing, here's one way to recognize when you're being ignorant. So if you're looking to learn something from someone and you're talking instead of listening, guess what you be in?
But it's also not, I mean, and the reason why we bring this up, because in our community, we are only taught certain things. We're not really, we're not taught the knowledge of how how things evolve or anything like that. We're subject to certain things, and that might be to our own estimate that we just don't teach other than, you know, just black knowledge or certain black knowledge when it comes to the community, because there's so much is out there that you will be taught not to even look at certain things, not to pay attention to certain things, just because that's just not of what we do, or we was trained to do a certain thing. And when I mean not trained is because in school we're tested so much and tested so heavily that we're being indoctrinated and not even knowing that we're indoctrinated, especially when it comes to history, especially when it comes to the geography or social studies or what we are as a people. We're being taught that we're lesser than who we are. And that's something that we have to understand is we'll go by that and don't question it. And I think that's where the ignorance come in at, because we don't question it. You can even go to church and you don't question what your pastor tells you because you were taught not to question, the word of God, or you don't question the person that's bringing that particular knowledge or that information to you. And that's where the ignorance come in at, because most people take a person's word for something versus study it for themselves. And I think that's where the ignorance part comes into. Nobody does research. Everybody just take, the information that they hear and run with it and not indulge and find out and try to get the full understanding of what they're actually talking about. And that's something our community has a problem with, because I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just making y'all know, I'm just giving you my opinion is look outside in your community. Tell me what you see a number of on one block. And I would tell you, you are being controlled by a certain avenue or something like that, in a sense, like you will have a bunch of liquor stores on the corner, or you have a bunch of fast food restaurants on your corner. You have a bunch of different types of churches with different denominations on it on the same block. You have to understand why you have a abundance of the same different things, because they trying to keep you trapped within your mindset. It's people scared to get outside of their mind. People get outside of that bubble. That bubble is big. Once you burst that bubble, then your eyes get open. So when I'm saying the ignorance is because we don't do real research to get true knowledge.
Well, I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying. I think with when you talk about the bubble, it's being comfortable. We don't like to get outside of our comfort zones. We don't. That's why you don't research. You trust the information that's given to you. That's what makes media so powerful. Media can just tell you things, and you're just going to take it and be comfortable with taking the information and not move outside of the comfort zone of finding knowledge or researching knowledge. Sometimes we got to get out of our comfortable, like you mentioned, like even with religion, you know, it's uncomfortable to talk about something outside of what your pastor had told you or your rabbi has told you or Iban has told you. It's uncomfortable to go outside of their knowledge base. Same with school. You know, what you was taught in school. You know, it's amazing that if you brought new information to a teacher that is knocked down, how is that even possible? You know, when they're in the business. So, you know, why would you discourage new information? So busting through that comfort zone, that's how you alleviate ignorance.
And I
Yeah.
mean, but it's interesting because especially when it comes to history, I do listen to because my boys are both virtual. I do listen to their history or what they teach in the history, and I would tell them, and I'd be like, "No, she's wrong," or you know, they because they only going by a certain curriculum, they might not even know. You know what I'm saying?
Of
So,
course. That's why
and
they
it,
teach.
you know, so they teaching is basically they teaching a certain doctrine, especially about us as a people, indigenous people here in America, because we always again we go back to this whole slavery movement. And yes, this is Black History Month, and we don't celebrate Black History Month because Black History is 365 days a year. So we don't put ourselves in a certain bubble. But again, what history are they teaching your kids? And that's where it starts at. You know, for when us black people, go ahead, Tut. Go ahead, Tut.
That's what I want to address right there. Now, we spoke about the awareness of ignorance. So often one doesn't have a conscious awareness of their own ignorance. A wise person will. A lot of people don't. I mean, people vary. Now, to some who may not be aware of their ignorance, now this is what comes into play of spreading that ignorance. Now, if you're going to spread something, how can you spread something when you have no assurance of it yourself? You're just speculating or regurgitating what you've heard. Now, the way to solidify your information is going to be what you look, listen, and observe, how you gain your information. So the way to solidify that information is to put it into action. And you put it into action by speaking and interacting and with other people, to where you can ask questions then. You know what I'm saying? So when you're learning knowledge and you're wanting to question what you've learned, so you can speak to someone else who's supposed to be more proficient, who could give you some insight. You know what I'm saying? Now, as I was saying, if you learn something and you're assured of it yourself, then you know this for a fact. Then you can spread this information, you know, with no consequence or with no ramifications, because you are giving a jewel, and this will benefit someone in the future. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you are spreading ignorance, unbeknownst to you, like you don't know it, you know, so you're just going off of what you heard. Whatever. So now, the spreading of that ignorance, you can lead someone else down a path with red flags and destruction all in the way. You know what I mean? Because this person who has shared and spread their ignorance, they didn't go far enough down the road, so they wasn't aware of the red flags and all the signs. And you just told somebody else to go, and they might go further than you. You know what I mean? And you could put them into some stuff that you're not even aware of yourself.
Go ahead, Jerome.
No, I agree with you. I think a lot of times it's the connotation of the word ignorant. If we talk about ignorance, you know, people equate that to your intelligence and your ability to comprehend. And ignorance has nothing to do with your level of intelligence. Ignorance has to do with the level of information that you have, and the level of the perspective that it was given to you. Anything that you study, whether it be science, whether it be religion, whether it be history, whether it be anything, you have to have the ability to be to step back from it and to see it from every perspective. For example, if you're talking, since we just had the Super Bowl, right? So if you were talking to a New England fan about Tom Brady, they'd have a perspective, but they don't make the perspective the truth, because they have an emotion tied to it. They have a narrowness to how they see Tom Brady. To get a clearer picture, you'd have to back yourself out and ask a fan from another team. You have to ask fans from around the league to get a clear perspective on who truly Tom Brady is. And I just use that as an analogy because some people, you love a certain thing so much that that they deified Tom Brady. He had a good defense with it. If you look at it from another perspective, or the person that was a deep fan, he done everything. He got the interception, he made all the tackles, But so we deify something that we love, and we don't, and that's an ignorance within inside itself, because you don't allow yourself a different perspective or a different truth or the facts to come in to truly see what it is that's in front of you.
True that. And I agree with both of you brothers. But I mean, we also got to look at it like this in a sense, is we spreading ignorance. And when we say, is it worse than spreading than racism? Because when it comes to racism, that's not knowing nothing. You just hating a group of people because of, their because of their skin color, or because of something about them. I just don't like them just because of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, what did I say something wrong?
Nah, Morpheus trying to contact me.
What the fuck? But on the sense though, we have to. But that's why I said, is it worse than spread? Because we will come. It actually depends on the area that you're from. A lot of times, nobody never goes outside of that area when it comes to knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Or you'll be told not to go no farther than, like, it's like your yard. Your parents say don't go outside this yard. That's how some of us are trapped in our mindset. We won't go outside our yard because of what certain people has told us that we respect it, not understanding. We don't get knowledge and then we run with it, because I did that. And trust me, when you can't answer those questions, and then they'd be like, well, why should I even listen to you? So that's why you have to do research. Research is big. Research is it. Go ahead.
You just made me think of something. Now, sharing information. Now, the consequences of sharing information. So there is, if you lead a person down the wrong path, that's a consequence, that, you may put somebody in. So I think the wise thing to do is, if there is a religion, if there is an organization, it should not ask you to join. Now, if someone is asking you to join their fold, if they're promoting to you and wanting you to join their fold, is that ignorance? Because you have to be able to allow a person the opportunity to choose, what they like. So, and what makes them feel good, and give them the ability to discern for themselves. So if an organization asks you to join and they're trying to convince you to join them, then they're not genuine in their deliverance of information. They're not genuine in their deliverance of information. They have an agenda to get you to join. So any organization that tries to get you to join, I mean, I'm not saying that they're spreading ignorance, but if you are ignorant, you wouldn't look at it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So if you are ignorant, you wouldn't look at it like that. You would think to go ahead and join. You know what I'm saying? Without, no knowledge of it or nothing. And so you could get into an organization that could be racist, and so when we speak about spreading ignorance and spreading racism, I think they go one and the same. Sure. Because racism is definitely based off ignorance. You know what I'm saying? So someone who's racist, they definitely have no knowledge of the mitochondrial DNA spread and the chromosome makeup that we all have, and the durability and existence that one has had. So when you look at, go ahead, Jerome.
No, I mean, that's the point that I was going to go into is you talking about spreading racism. I don't think you spread racism. I think racism is the system. Racism is the mechanism. Ignorance is what's spread out from it. The ignorance of other people, the ignorance of your past, the ignorance of who you are. And this is the races control the system. And the system uses ignorance to keep the people in a certain mindset or in a certain place. That's black and white. Ignorance is of who everybody is. Now, the ones that are controlling, they know who you are, better than you do,
Right.
So ignorance, that's the tool. That's the tool that all this is built on. That's how you control people, is through their ignorance of certain information.
And also, I look at it as, for some reason, you don't evolve. If you're still stuck in that same spot in 10 years, like you were 10 years ago, then what did you learn about life? Or what did you know about you? What did you learn about you? Or is that organization teaching you to learn more about you? So a plant or a vegetable don't stay in a seed, mindset. They grow and they blossom into something bigger. If you're not blossoming into something bigger, then that's when you need to check yourself. And that's where I didn't know, or why do you not know? Oh, because we only looking with these blinders, so we won't see anything else, from side to side, because we're being taught and being led to keep moving forward versus look around and see everything. That's what my problem is. If you keep looking at the same people, like, for instance, I can't look at Tut as how I looked at Tut 20 years ago, because that's not the same Tut.
Shit.
Well, you just, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to step out of your comfort zone to understand life and what life is. And that's something that we won't do because we are so in our comfort zone. Because, for one, I don't want people to look at me in a different way or look at me funny or, oh man, you acting different now, or you acting like this.
Now,
I'm learning
those things. Well, I'm saying that, like what you're talking about, is like peer control, right? But so let's take.
But that's ignorance in a certain tone.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I got you. I said I'm saying that's what it is. So if you have some eggs there, right, and these chickens, you didn't know there was an eagle egg in there, and so they all hatch and they all grow up together, and so the eagle is with the chickens, and every day they're being fed seeds or these kernels, so they're being fed, so they're comfortable. So the eagle's never gonna look up. He just gonna look down to eat those seeds. And he doesn't know that he's missing everything because he's eating. He's living his life. He's with other chickens. He has company. It's only until he looks up and sees somebody flying that he says, wait a minute. Now I look at these chickens, they think I'm different. They think I'm a different kind of chicken. Maybe I'm not a chicken at all. So until that clicks in their mind, until there's this above knowledge that they get, or that it comes to them, you're not going to know what you are. And it's not that you fighting not to become yourself. Sometimes you just don't know you're supposed to be something different.
Now let's look at this. Now, we established that ignorance is the lack of knowledge or information. Let's look up what information is.
Right.
Oh, my bad. I guess that was my cue. God damn it, Tut.
I mean,
come on, B.
Because
no.
I'm gonna tell you a moniker some people use is you have to give it a kiss. You have to keep it simple and sweet. You know what I mean? And so we're breaking down ignorance. And so in order to establish the lack of having something, let's establish what that is too.
Right.
All right. Let me put this up there since, Tut want to throw stuff out there. Can you see that?
We're breaking it down.
Can you see it, Tut?
You got to read. You got to read. You got to read from it.
You got to pop up.
Knowledge obtained from Why are we laughing at me, man? Y'all start clowning me, man. That ain't. Hey, this is Tut doing.
Go ahead, B.
Man. It's knowledge obtained from investigating study. Oh, the definition of information is the knowledge obtained from investigating studies or obstruct intelligence, news, facts, data. That shit from you.
Right. So to share, to recognize you're in ignorance. So if you have not did that study, and you have not been under that instruction, then you can't share information because you ain't got it.
Right.
There it is.
How did you attain it?
Can't touch speak. I don't know where you're going with it, but I don't know why I'm this damn narrator today.
Hey, we're a team. Now, if I had, I'm gonna get me a computer. I'm gonna get me a computer, and I'm gonna be doing all that. Then y'all gonna be mad. You know what I'm saying? because I'm gonna break it down analytically. And this is what we have to do when you're disseminating information. This is how you do research, and I think everybody should be aware when they're reading a sentence, and when they're reading books, for that matter, breaking down each sentence and gaining that comprehension. If you got to read that sentence 5 times and go look up 4, 5 definitions of words, you're only gaining more information. You're only gaining more knowledge. So if you got to go look up a definition, you just gain the knowledge of that definition. Not only the context of this sentence, you know what I'm saying? So people, the diligent duty that it takes to study and gain research, there is such a valuable reward.
But I mean, that's the thing about it is because we don't do no investigation of what we know. We just follow the fad. We just follow the crowd. You don't want to be different. You want to stay in this certain likable moment with everybody. You don't want to piss nobody off by straying away, because if we're a bunch of lamb, which are a bunch of sheep, you only following a voice. And everybody just happens to, if you ever watch a shepherd when he walks with his sheep, they follow his voice because they're blinded. They can't see anything. I don't want to hear, oh, we're a bunch of sheep, because sheep get slaughtered. You know what I'm saying? Sheep follows one another. They're not, you don't have that, or they consider you that black sheep. You just happen to go out and go do something different. Yeah, because I don't want to follow the crowd. I want to do something. I want to be me. You never become being me when you follow the crowd. But go ahead.
No. I like where you're going with that, but I think inevitably humans are social creatures. So I mean, we have a herd mentality, you know. So when you're in trouble, you want to get with more people. When you feel threatened, you want to be around more people. So we have a herd mentality. That's why it's so easy to manipulate people, and that's why it's rarely do you see good information spread, through groups. Normally it's in small communications like we are. And you got to look at it from this perspective. I want to say this to be clear. We don't get on here to teach ideologies. We don't get on here to teach dogma. We get on here to have a conversation between intellectuals, and those intellectuals share information, which is the killing of ignorance. And so that's what we do. We share information. You take that information and you study it for yourself, and it lessens the ignorance everywhere.
And I hate to cut you off, but you know what I'm saying, what you got. But I wanted to make one final point too. Also, we just established what information is, and it included various ways of gaining information. So it said through study or through instruction. Now you have to understand there are some things
don't forget
you can't learn, but or investigate. You know what I'm saying? Right. True indeed. So there's another way of gaining that knowledge and information. So it's if you only investigate, then you're limiting yourself to the information that you can gain by studying and by instruction. If you only get knowledge or information by instruction, then you're limiting yourself by gaining information by studying and investigating. So you have to apply all forms of gaining this knowledge. So there are some things you can't learn without instruction. Somebody who knows this stuff and has done it, and they've got to show you this, because oftentimes the most genuine knowledge ain't wrote down in these books. The sacred knowledge that was written for all the times here in America, a lot of it wasn't wrote down. I mean, a lot of it was wrote down, a whole lot of it wrote down, but a lot of it wouldn't. And that was because it was a verbal tradition. So in ancient times, that's when one had to rely mostly on the information that someone shared, in a group. And as as Aboriginal, indigenous, original people across the globe, this is the fashion that we're used to as a people. And this is why the church is so intuitive to our thought, because we're used to learning information in a social gathering aspect. You know what I'm saying? That's embedded in our DNA, but now the times have changed to where the information that's being distributed is not actual fact. And you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of BS. So in order to get the truth of the matter, you've got to go through these various steps of gaining this information and knowledge. And like I say, you can't limit yourself to just one aspect of gaining that information or knowledge.
True. And you got to understand, why do you think they don't want us to learn how to really read? What you got to understand, why do they target the inner city? Why do they target, our youth, and trying to get our youth to be dumbed down? We've been dumbed down for so long, y'all. Why can't we just, and everybody's like, why we can't get out of this? Because we kind of teach our kids to stay in shackles. for some reason we don't want our kids. We want our kids to be better, but we don't know how to give them the information because we're still stuck in this matrix and don't want to get out of it. And that's the sad part about it. But when you break away from it, everybody attacks you. And you're like, well, why are you attacking me? Maybe that's a good thing when people attack you because, you know, it's like the crab in the barrel. They want to bring you back into this fold of, you know, this misinformation that they have learned and been taught. And it's sad for us as a people because we watched the Caucasian race spread racism like it's nothing out of fear of knowing when we find out who our true selves are, it's over. They already know that.
Hold up now. I don't think I want to generalize it too much like that.
Hey, I can only give you my opinion, bro.
I don't want to. I mean, true indeed. But I wouldn't. I'd say I wouldn't generalize it like that.
Go ahead. Keep going. No, keep finishing it.
I thought Jerome had something, you know what I'm saying?
Y'all both started. Come on, damn it. You both
That's what I'm saying. I thought Jerome had something. Go ahead, Jerome.
Oh no. I was along the same vein as you. We don't want to generalize, but when we talk about people pushing racism, like I said, really they're pushing ignorance. The ignorance of the people that they're around, the ignorance of what they've been taught, the ignorance of what they've, the little bit of knowledge that they've learned throughout the years. I think because I don't want us to, because when we say find out who we are, you know, it's over. It's like there's something nefarious to it, and that's only to keep the ignorance going, you know, on both sides. So, you know, it's nothing nefarious to knowing who you are. It's nothing. Knowing who you are gives you more balance, and that's what we're trying to bring back to the earth is balance. You know, everything else will take care of itself once the earth is in balance.
That's a
Is that all right?
I don't know. Tuck got me wondering about it, man.
Y'all couldn't hear me coughing, could you?
Yo, I can't. You know how you went coughing, you grab a baby and you put their arm over their head. We can't.
But nah, B. I like I said.
He know I'm right. But no, but I mean, but at the same time though, I mean, we you know, that's something that we have to look at though. Breaking away from is it in a sense a generation curse of the lack of knowledge of self?
I don't call it a curse because I don't think it's anything mystical to it.
Right.
Hey, I'm just throwing stuff out there. I'm trying to get y'all to.
No. It's good. I'm good. It's like a system though. You put a system in place, and you don't change any of the variables. It's gonna stay the same. You know, when we talk about when you talk about racism, when you talk about one race being superior to the other, you know that's strictly a mental suggestion. And, you know, and that mental suggestion hasn't been changed for years. And, you know, until we start to put the pieces into it, well, let me show you why we're, you know, if you look at the facts of education and you break it down, who leads in mathematics, who leads in science, you know, you would be is really surprised.
And I think it's important when we look at the formulation of America now, let's talk about the ignorance of that. When you look at the formulation of America, this is Black History Month, and we all consider ourselves Black, and we've taken on the moniker African American. And so us as a people, we have been ignorant to who we are. And we want to be this, be that, labeled this, labeled that. And all you have to do is do the knowledge, do the information, do the research, do the study, gain the instruction. You know what I'm saying? Because this information is out here. You can go to the Smithsonian Museum, start researching artifacts. You can go to the library, start reading books. If you're going to gain instruction, you can't just gain instruction for one person. You got to gain instructions, plural, you know, and then still apply other various ways of learning. So us as a people, we have to be aware of the vast amount of information that's out there. And yet we lack to gain that knowledge and information. And I think Jerome had said something earlier, like we hate to read as a people. Everybody all know the term. You want to hide something from a nigga, put it in the book. So the ignorance of that, everybody know ignorance is, you know, they say doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So if our ancestors couldn't read and you still ain't reading, why in the fuck? Why you think we still where we at?
But I will say this, because I think that's part of the history that was spread that was untrue, that we couldn't read. We had a language. You know, that's why it was mandatory for everybody to speak English, so you wouldn't speak in your language, so you wouldn't write in your language, so you wouldn't communicate in your language. When we talk about how do you hide it from a Black person by putting it in books, see, we still think like recently. The reason why they put it in books is because it was illegal for a slave or anybody that was enslaved to read. So if you were caught reading a book, things would happen to you. So yeah, you put it in a book, they're not by law allowed to read. And so that's how you would hide information and pass information. But of course we could read. We were extremely intelligent. There's no way that you could be a slave for 50 years. And then as soon as the Reconstruction era happens, we're doctors, we're lawyers, you know, we're politicians, we're engineers. That doesn't happen to people that was so ignorant that they couldn't read. So,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So it's just so much that, you know, it's so much about ourselves that we don't understand because we trust the information that's given to us.
That's where it is. We trust the information of the system that whatever they put, we like everybody trusts the news. You trust everything the news tell you? Never understanding the source of the news and why it is so many news channels. And like, for instance, reality TV now is the norm. What are they really trying to push out there? What are they really trying to put in your head? Because maybe that's a mind controlling in itself. And we just tend to not even pay no attention to it because whatever is in front of us, we believe and never question it. Why is it the fact that we can't question something? Now, I understand this whole thing with Trump and what he did and had these people, you know, question the election. I wasn't wrong for him to say, you know, to question it or to how the system is. Yeah, I'm still here. You still there?
Okay, you going in and out.
Oh, my bad. Maybe they trying to fade me out because I said
I think that was you that time, Jerome.
Huh?
I think that was you that time, Jerome.
Okay, all right.
That was me? Did I fade out?
No, but at the same time, though, I mean, think about it. They questioned the election. And look how powerful in that movement became without nobody really, they was trying to do it by force, but then not understanding this. Let's sit back and just understand and study and research and find out, you know, this whole election procedure. We put it out there and people looked at us like, nah, y'all wrong. But at the same time, it's okay to question things. As long as you can go research it for yourself and find out the truth. Because that's the problem is nobody wants to find out truth about anything. Nobody don't want to find out the truth about, you know, our true heritage here in America.
And, and Jerome just said, a vital thing, like we all understood, we understand that we could read at that time. And a lot of people had the misconception that we couldn't read. And what I mean by we couldn't read was by the law put on us that didn't allow us, to be able to read. Now, someone in modern times today, your ancestors, you hear a lot of people, I talked to the ancestors. They told you to pick up a damn book. Is everybody want to deal with spirituality, a lot. If you can talk to an ancestor and they ain't told you to pick up a book, you might not be talking to the right ancestor.
You're talking to their ancestors.
And so since learning was prohibited, or reading was prohibited, it created a fear of reading in us. And so now, if you understand genetics, you characteristics are passed down genetically. So that same fear you have from reading, Wu-Tang said it best. You can't party your life away, drink your life away, smoke your life away, because your seeds grow up the same way. So that same fear you got from reading, get what your kid gonna have. And your child magnifies your 23 chromosomes that you give up. Your child magnifies them. So if you fear reading, he might hate it.
True indeed, true indeed. Man, it's also your environment that you grow up in too. I mean, think about it. People who are smart, I know when we went to school, we used to get picked on because you wasn't the popular one and you ain't had the flashy clothes on and you wasn't rocking what Jerome always come at me, them Jordans. Sometimes I live my childhood. But no, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you have some people that would just book smart, that would just soak up anything that comes out. In this generation of children that we have now, minds are so ready to absorb so much information that we just dumb them down by just putting them in front of a TV and say, okay, just watch TV all day, versus putting that real knowledge in them or giving them a chance, for them to be able to question you and say, Dad, this or Dad, that. And you be like, all right, let me go research this for you. You know what I'm saying? Let me go find out this information for you, because I like to be challenged. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think, no. I like what you're talking about, because this generation, they have, I don't think it's a lack of knowledge. I think it's the opposite. I think they have information overload. I think they have sensory overload. They give them so much to see, they give them so much to hear, but nobody is deciphering the information that you're receiving, and nobody is putting it in the proper context. And so because you have this sensory and informational overload, yeah, they know a lot of things, but what are they really, you know what I'm saying? They can't put it into context. So they don't understand. Right. They don't understand their history, even though they might know as much history as you, because, oh yeah, I heard that somewhere. I think I seen that on a TikTok, you know what I'm saying? Because you got so much information coming at you. It's a sensory overload.
And you look at the terminology. When the internet first came out, it was labeled as the information super highway. You know what I'm saying? So you had the internet. We had the flood of information. You know what I'm saying? Like we had the ability to access information at the touch of a button that people done dug up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 years to look for. And so that information super highway, if you're not, like Jerome explains, if you're not grounded, because there is so much information, it could take you in so many places, and you jump from one thing into the other. It can actually give you a mental health issue.
Mm.
You know, and so that's why we also have to be aware too, is that oftentimes when we do learn something and you can associate with it so hard that you believe in it so hard, and it might not be as good for you as you think. And having that belief in something that hard, you know, it could cause ailments, you know. So
Right.
getting thrown so much information, and then you can believe this and believe that. You might believe the wrong thing, and then now you have messed up the wiring of your brain to where you can't disseminate who's with you, who's against you, and it begins to create paranoia, anxiety, and different types of mental issues.
You know what? And like I said, this is using the internet. This is not a new thing, because if you look at the beginning of the 1900s, just take that. When you had W.E.B. Du Bois, when you had Booker T on the other side, and they were debating their points, and they had these great debates. Going into the 20s, you have the Renaissance in Harlem, right? And so you got this refreshing of knowledge, this refreshing of sound, this refreshing of the past coming. So a lot of books started coming out about Black Power, right? How many of you know that a lot of those books were written by white FBI agents? And even then, they were Black Power, but they were leading you in another direction. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes the information sounds good, it sounds right, but you got to vet it. You got to understand where it comes from and what the purpose of it was. You know, because just because it's information and it seems to favor you, doesn't mean it's always true.
True.
And that's important. Like Jerome speaks of vetting. When you read information, check the author. You know what I'm saying? Because when you properly vet what you're reading, your author should be he should have works that he's done, works that have been reviewed and proven the validity of that. And this is how you validate and credit and check his credibility as being an author. And one thing I want to say, you know, we talk about citing a source and establishing and vetting the author. A lot of people don't even know who wrote the Bible, and they just put it on God. And I just wanted to say that you don't even know the author of the book, but okay.
Or look who version it is. Look, all you gotta do is look who version it is. But we bashing if we say something about that. Nobody never checks the authors. And then other than that, it's a bunch of books inside of one book.
But I won't get into the multiplicity of this manual, this canon. But
canon.
You mind if I share a little conversation that we were having?
Sure, no problem. Yeah.
Was I not in this conversation?
No, you didn't. It was quick. It wasn't that long. So Tut had sent me something about you know who published the Bible, you know, who gets paid from the publishing.
That conversation, yeah. Go ahead.
Right. And so you know, looking at it, the King James version, I'll be quick, just the King James version of the Bible is is published by the Crown or the British Crown. So the royal family gets payment for every time that a Bible or King James Bible is being purchased. That's why they push it so much. Is you keep that family rich. I mean, that's facts. You can go look that up.
And one thing I do
every translation has a publisher. Let's say
and that. Right. And so people like let's look at the ignorance of our people and let's establish something, because this is something beneficial for people in the church. When you want to get publication for a work of art, you know, so the Bible has been copyrighted and publicated. So every translation or abrogation of the Bible, you can get your own patented rights on your own Bible, you know. So you can take from that Bible and make a translation with your own quote unquote ideals with it, and publish it and sell it, distribute it, and get paid for it. So the NIV, the NIV version, if you notice, you got different versions of the Bible. And everybody who got that different version, they getting publication rights off of it, they get money off of it. And little do we know, understand the industry and the copyrights and trademarks on intellectual property, you know. And so we get played by it. And so we look at the Bible as a people, and we want to take it as God's word, while the queen sits on what she calls the what they call it, the chair, the I forgot what they call it, you know. But there you have it.
Touch you something else, man. But at the same time, we won't question it. We won't question it at all, because you know that's something that we've been taught. But go ahead, Jerome.
No. You dead on it. And like I said, that's not bashing. That's not being harsh. That's the truth. That's you can look it up for yourself and find out the same information that we have. What you got to question is if they're publishing this and if they're receiving funds from it, why are they not using it for God's people? Why are there still Christians? Why are there still Christians that are homeless? Why are there still Christians that are hungry? Why are there still Christians that suffer every day, when that's the #1 selling book in the world? There's so much money made from that can be used for his people.
Damn, you just gonna drop the mic like that?
That's all, man.
I
just dropped it like
Black History moment. Black History moment.
And then I don't even know what to say no more. I'm just kind of like, what else do we say after this? I mean, again, you don't question it. But I mean, again, this is, and I think that's the thing about it that we do is we are questioning it, but it's like, who you taking your questions to? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know,
right.
We'll Google it in a heartbeat, and I'm like, do y'all know what Google is and what Google is? Who writes Google, or who Google is protecting? Because everything is out there it's hard for you to find. But I mean, you'll find it. You just got to search. You just got to keep searching and searching and going through it. So don't be afraid to research what you into. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean,
right.
You hurting yourself if you don't. I could say it like that. So just understanding that you can be spreading ignorance and not knowing that you're spreading it, but just because of the lack of knowledge or lack of knowing, because you didn't do how we looked up the definition, you didn't do your proper investigation. When you start investigating some things, dude, you'll find out some stuff and you'll be like, wait a minute, why am I following this? Or why is this whole time I've been studying this? And, or, you know, this was said and this said, go ahead, man. So, my bad. So, I'm sorry, y'all. She just walked in the room. She just jumped in on the scene. But this is how things are, man. And that's where we need to start getting to our point is question things. Question what we're talking about. Because, I mean, that's why I like when we start off is Jerome gives a disclaimer to do your own research. Everybody's too lazy that they don't want to do their own research. I just need somebody to tell me what's facts and what's not facts. And that's why you see our country in disarray. Well, our country warring against our own country, and we just sitting back and not understanding why. Why are they fighting? Because they listening to somebody and not doing their own research. So you become a follower. You become a sheep that's being led by a certain voice. You know what I'm saying? And
that's why it's called the Lamb of God.
I think it's, I don't want to say it's not good to follow. There are wise people that you can follow, but you got to ask questions. Don't be on the journey and never ask the question. Don't be on, because there are teachers that that you can get credible information from, but you have to be a willing student. You have to be willing to ask. You have to be willing to challenge. You have to be willing to put yourself out there a little bit, for growth. Um, Ignorance, man. Ignorance is it's a powerful thing. It holds people, and like I said, it can be pushed. Um, if you talk about spreading ignorance, I wouldn't. You don't speak on anything that you don't feel that you're an expert in. If you hadn't put 10,000, 15,000 hours into something, you shouldn't be speaking on it as an expert anyway. So, you always have to look at the source of where your information comes from.
And I just want to reiterate a little, and I know we have a lot of Christian viewers, and it's not that we're trying to downplay Christians as if Christianity is totally wrong. And we want to share the information that whatever you believe and makes you a better person, we're all trying to get to the same point. So if you got Christian values to the core, you live those out, they are invaluable in being an upright person. And so one of the main things that we hark on about Christianity is that being a Christian, you're not at the pinnacle of faith or the pinnacle at the top as what you think. And so you have to understand in Christianity, where did it come from? Because it's not the all in all basis foundation of God and Adam and Eve being the origin of everything. That's one thing you have to break your mind from, that way of thinking that, Christianity is the foundation of everything, and it's not. And so Christians, like I say, I don't want y'all to feel like your faith is wrong. We're not saying your faith is incorrect, but it has to be an understanding with that faith. It has to be a knowledge with that faith. And like I say, and a core respect to the values and ethics and morals. And so the Bible, it gives great more. It's a foundation of my morals and ethics, because we all was raised on the Bible. You know what I'm saying? But holding true to some of those values, often, a lot of people say, you can learn something, but are you applying it? And that's another thing of gaining information, is you don't have to tell somebody. You don't have to tell somebody. Just do it. And they say, as you know better, you do better. And so if you're learning, you don't have to convince nobody into your fold. You don't have to convince nobody into your belief. They should see the prominence and the radiance and the perfection and the elegance that you display, and then they should want to copy that. And then that should make you be able to associate with them on your travels, on your learnings, and on the information then. So regardless of what belief you may be, Muslim, Christian, I don't care what you are, but you have to apply this universal understanding of things, of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
Oh yeah,
he gonna drop the damn mic on that one.
Yeah. I mean, he makes a valid point, because with everything, it's not what you say, it's what you do. I don't need to know what you believe. Everything that you have faith in is totally within your head anyway. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you broke up. Yeah, you broke up.
You like that, didn't you, B? You see that? He was
The way he
liked
said
it when the brother broke up.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
But like I said, it's about how it's everything's about application in life. No matter what information that you gather, how does it apply to your life? That's the most important thing. But that's all I got.
But don't just let that be that one thing. Explore, find other things. Find out the like you say, how we keep saying, find the source of where you're getting your information from. That one book that's just one book. Just go into other books. It's other books that can explain that one book. You know what I'm saying? But us as a people, we stop at that one thing and be like, oh, that's it.
This is it.
If it ain't in there, that's it. And I think that's
right now.
And I think that's where the ignorance comes as a people in our community is we stop at that one and don't go farther. So it's like you see a stop sign and you don't, that stop sign is it. I don't, it says stop. I don't know where else to go because you only read that one source and that one source will keep you trapped and it won't let you go. It'll let you go. You just won't let yourself let it go because, everything that you go by is in that one source. You have to have multiple sources to get true knowledge. And I mean, that's what we try to promote, but it's just interesting, man, just to see how, people can come at you and you be like, well, there's more sources than that. Well, who told you that? And why would you want to take another source if it's not in that? I'm like, well, who said that was the true knowledge? Who said that was the true source? I don't know. I know because we've been trained that that's the only source. I mean, think about it. When did the NIV became a big thing? What, in the 90s? That's a different version of the King James. King James been in it's been in the picture for centuries? Nobody never questioned that.
He had one before him.
What was before that? Where was his translation translated from? But I mean, I'm gonna throw this out there. Christianity is let me say this right. Has helped white supremacy become the big stronghold that it is. Because of how it has, that particular religion has spread it and just dominated the world and everything that's beyond it. Because if you go back and you study and understand the building blocks of how that is back into the 1400s, you'll see how it became. Now, hell, we go even deeper than that. Whoa, what the hell? Somebody moving?
What?
What's the background noise? That ain't coming from me.
Morpheus still trying to hit me up.
But I mean, but that's why we tell people to study that, understand the history of it, understanding the foundation of it, and then if you start understanding the foundation of it, maybe you then you start questioning it. Man, that's where the problem is when you start questioning it. How people look at you and they say, "Oh, you're not supposed to question that. You're not supposed to." Yeah, that was you, Jerome. Jerome, you got a lot going on today, man. Got a lot going on today. Do not disturb us while we doing our thing. This is our segment. This is our man time. But I mean, I'm just saying though, study more. There's other books out there, y'all. That's all I'm saying. Don't study one source and let that source be it. Wheeler done jumped in.
Hey, I missed my boy Ant.
Why Will ain't on, man?
Wheeler be in the bunker, man. The original copy of the Bible is gone, which was taken from various cultures, which is true. That's what he put out there. Well, hell, I can show it. That's what he put up there.
Oh, look at you. Past tonight.
All right, Willie, we get you. Hey, Willie, you was on, so you can't say you wasn't on. But that is true. Because you got to understand, why did they burn the books back in the past? Why was they burning books? Why did they burn the books in Alexandria? Why did they burn the books that was in Timbuktu? Why did they burn all this knowledge and this information? No, I mean, I'm understanding. I know why. But I'm just saying, though, the literature that was back then, they burned it down for a reason. So you don't know what the past and what our history as a people are. But go ahead. Go ahead.
No. You make a valid point. But here's the thing. Like I said, illusion, man. You see the right hand, but you don't know what the left hand is doing, right? They did not burn the books of Alexandria. They burnt the library, but they took the knowledge.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that hidden bunker? Is that hidden bunker down in that place they call the Vatican? But go ahead.
Yeah, you said it. But yeah, they took the knowledge and they burnt the libraries and told you, yeah, we burnt all that because it was pagan knowledge. No, it was good information, and they kept that. And that's how they keep you in the dark, and that's why they continue to keep you in the dark. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, and see, now see, this goes into the mosaic of information, and see, the libraries consisted of historic teachings and mystic teachers. You know what I'm saying? To where it gave the science and the secrets that some people, some organizations hold secret to this day. And so the reason for them burning that library is so that only they could have it, supposedly. You know what I'm saying? And so even in reference to some works that I'm reading now, some writers in the 1840s and 1860s, and they are talking about how they were trying to present information and write information to the Smithsonian and to museums and stuff, and their works were getting stolen and misplaced. And so this is what was happening to a lot of manuscripts. So they were disseminating what information they wanted to put out and what they wanted to allow. And now, mind you, this is how ignorant they were. They didn't even read it all. So a lot of stuff they got through that they didn't even pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they might have just took it because it was that author. And so they you know, some authors would put in another writer to like how ghostwriters do. They would put in a fake author just to get the information through under another author.
Yeah, see, here's the crazy thing too, is because we don't racism and the system of it. Can you hear me, B?
You breaking, dude. You chopping up, dude. Come on, you gotta get out of. Maybe you need to get out of the damn bunker.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so anyway, like I was saying before, B hit the button on me to break me up. Is the information was like this in the 1800s. You know, there wasn't a system of racism like we see it today, and they could, when they wrote in books, they would tell the truth because Black people, indigenous people, didn't really buy books. They didn't really have the books that the English were writing, so they could write freely of what they saw. But you know, as far as it being taught in Oxford, being taught at Yale, being taught at Harvard, that wasn't going to happen. So they would ban these authors or ban these professors from even speaking because they didn't want it on an educational level. They wanted to keep the knowledge to those who had the. If you look at, you mentioned Timbuktu. Now Timbuktu, they have manuscripts in there that they claim go back to 200,000 years. Can you imagine if that truth was made known? Because European rule hasn't even been around 1,500 years. much less 200,000 years of information in these manuscripts. If you look at they tell you that the cradle of civilization started in the Middle East, right? With the Sumer culture, right? Now listen, I just want to say this. There's a reason why present day Middle Eastern people are bombing the old temples, are destroying the old temples, because they know without a shadow of a doubt it wasn't they who created these things. So you got to open your mind and see the whole world, not just America, because I know a lot of our indigenous brothers, we get caught up in America, but there was a worldwide system of indigenous people that created the foundations of this world that we got to tap into, and we're missing it by fussing over, like you said, your front yard. It's bigger than your front yard. There's a worldwide connective tissue that we have of our people.
And that goes back to getting back to our roots. And as you spoke about history, and we speak about some of these writers, these writers were coming over here speaking to all of the Aboriginal indigenous tribes and stuff. They were getting this information. And we gave them language. We gave them names. You know what I'm saying? The first Native American was Caucasian. So they were listed as Native Americans. So, and when you search the histories from the writings over here, they go back further than your Adam and Eve stories. They go back further than, further than a lot of some of the histories over in the East. Your quote unquote Christianity, Islam, all of that. There's histories over here written about, documented, that go way back. And it's people that has calculated the time frame. They have listed what was going on here and what was so-called listed of what was going on over in the East. And most people think this was an area of savages, barbarians, the same way that they list Ethiopia or Africa like that, So you had intelligence here. You had intelligence everywhere. And you had communication here. You had communication everywhere. It might not be as fast as it is now, but it was definitely prevalent. And tribes knew what, they had reverence to earth. They had reverence to their position in the universe, and as far as taking care of their mother, and so we look at a society now that has put emphasis on one gender or the other. And so when you search history and cultures, and they search traditions, the mother was just important as the father. So some want to worship the son as the father, or you want to worship the earth as the mother. I mean, both are just as important. You can't have one without the other. And it's a balance that you should understand and show reverence to them all. You know what I mean? So, and that's what a lot of the, they just hunted, did regular stuff, live, they didn't have to worry about going to work, But it was a time to do stuff.
But I'm gonna let you in, B. But I just wanted to get this point out before I go out. When you're talking about lost information and lost knowledge, and Tut said there's just as much information on this hemisphere as it is on the other hemisphere. It's true. When you talk about, just take the Olmecs, for example, and then you take the Mayans, for example, right? And these ancient cultures, the Olmec being much more ancient Mayan, it's interesting to me that the Inca and the Aztec, you can find those people, right? You can find descendants of. But why you can't find descendants of the Olmec or the Mayan? These are lost civilizations. But yet there's hundreds of millions of indigenous African or the indigenous dark-skinned melanated people in this hemisphere. You know, you got almost 60 million just in the United States. You got over 200 million in South America and Central America. So you telling me that the Olmec people and the Mayan people really disappeared, or you just mislabeled them, and you don't want people to know who it is that created culture in this hemisphere?
Yo, check out this question. Facts.
True indeed. True indeed. But that's their agenda. That's their agenda. Their agenda is to keep you stupid. And they actually, and this is how you test your theory. They shoot this information out there and they watch you act just as stupid as they make you.
Right. Right. I mean,
Yeah.
that is a big, I don't even know if that's a question more so than a big statement.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I wasn't looking at it as a question. I was looking at it as a statement because, again,
Yeah,
we follow what the TV tell us. Or
exactly.
think about it. I mean, I know we wasn't back then when they did the radio, the World of World, Wars of the World, and they put it on TV, and most people,
Wells.
and they put it on the radio, and most people actually thought it was really happening.
Right.
So
Orson
think
Welles.
about it,
Yeah.
or just look at it, this whole Corona thing, and how a lot of people committed suicide because they thought it was the end of the world. Just because of this pandemic that happened, some people just can't take it because they've been indoctrinated so much that everybody's looking for a revelation every day. This is a revelation. This is the revelation. This is what the revelation is saying. And you kind of looking at it like, again, you're getting it from one source. But go ahead, Tut.
One thing I do want to say, and I'm gonna reflect on my own ignorance. You know what I'm saying? Billy Buzzhead. I'm gonna give a shout out to Billy Buzzhead. That's my boy. You know, Billy Buzzhead. I remember he was in the hood one day. We busted dominoes, and he was trying to tell me that Abraham Lincoln was black.
Yeah, it was Moorish.
I argued Billy Buzzhead down. You know what I'm saying? And several other people, we argued Buzzhead down. You know what I'm saying? And sometime afterwards, you know, I did some research and I read, and you read Lincoln is described as being swarthy, and you read other research, and that motherfucking Buzzhead was right. You know what I'm saying? And so I was ignorant. I was going off of what I thought, you know, because as Alex just spoke about, I had the illusion of what I seen on TV, and I just took it from that, you know, and I didn't go further. And even Buzzhead's instruction, I spoke against it, you know, but I didn't even take that, you know. And so I was easily led in the wrong direction and hardly led in the right direction. And so I had to discern and distinguish that by studying myself. And through that conclusion, Buzz said, "You was right, boy."
But at the same time,
Yeah.
dude, go ahead, Jerome. Go ahead.
Yeah. Shout out to Buzzhead. But at the same time, man, it's like we take what is established and we take it for truth. You know, we don't like the question, you know, because, you know, it's just, I don't know, it's something innate in us that when we hear something, we trust it, you know. So yeah, we do. We got everything that you hear, you got to question.
Yeah, don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed to speak your side. Don't be ashamed to speak your side, speak your opinion. But if you do have a debate with someone, it should make you want to go home and be like, well, maybe shit, let me find out, you know. Go home and do some research. Don't be ashamed to come back to somebody and be like, hey, man, I was wrong. You know, because that's one thing we have to have in ignorance is that respect, you know. And you have to appreciate someone else who brings you out of that respect or who challenges your thought. And so don't be ashamed or don't feel bad, having to go back and tell somebody, hey, you should actually, I look at it as gratitude. I like to thank people. If you show me something I don't know, if I do debate you and I go back and find myself wrong or you can prove me wrong, I'm going to thank you. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. Everybody else don't see it like that. Some people get aggressive and they close out. They want to run away, and so it can, when you get into information and you're speaking about information, often it can cause one to get into that fight or flight syndrome. And so you feel like you get back into a corner because this is pressing you against everything you thought you believed or you thought and so it presses you into that corner. And so you have to decide, whether you're going to fight and dig and hunt or you're going to run and just stay with what you got.
And sometimes you lose a bunch of friends. You lose a bunch of associates. The people that you thought was had your back. They won't have your back because you don't believe in the same thing they believe, because you went out there and you did your research. Then that means you're questioning, are they really true friends? Because if you got friends that you've been still tight with 20 years from now, them your damn friends. Them your ride or die. But if you just say somebody after a year or two, and you be like, man, I didn't think they was okay. Sometimes people will grab you by your, some people need you to carry them to the next level. Some people are watching you. People are always watching you, and they're trying to watch you. Oh, since you stepped away, I want to see you fall. But when you standing tall and you still moving and you getting stronger, then they need to start questioning. What happens is, like you said, Tut, it's the way you carry yourself. Stand strong in what you believe in. Don't let nobody knock you off of it. But then at the same time, I'm going to ask you this. Did you do your research on what you stand on? And if you didn't do your research on what you stand on, you're going to get blown away easily. Now they're going to say it's easy, but it's,
it actually is easy because it's simple when you know.
So we just giving you our opinions. You ain't got to believe us. Research it for yourself. And Wheeler done put something out. This is something that I know we do this on every Christopher Columbus, but it's one of his priests that said about when they came to Charleston. See, Wheeler, I still got you on here, Wheeler.
Right, he's 1,000,000% accurate with that. It was a known fact that the people that the colonizers found here, and even before the so-called colonizers came, it was people coming over here before then. It was a well-known fact that the people of this origin of this area was a mixture of people. It's a mixture of people over here. You had a array of colors of people over here, no different than you had over in the East. Because as humans, we are a species of numerous shades, and often we get into the moniker of a color, a culture. Tribes didn't like neighboring tribes ancient times ago. Everybody ain't gonna get along. As Jerome always said, it's never gonna be a time where everybody gets along. But the most important thing is to align people with likeness and to align yourself with people who have your best interests at heart and you have theirs. And you create that community, you create that society or group of people for that common cause. And when you go into that under someone else's moniker or banner or faction, then you are accepting all of the missions and everything that they have done beforehand. So when you become a Christian, you get the same outlook that every Christian has been before you. You know what I'm saying? If you're a Muslim, you're gonna get the same outlook that Muslims got before you. So when you go into a fold that that's been there before, you're gonna have people that look at you different ways and this and that. So I know I got a little off subject there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but to bring you back just a little bit, when you're talking about the Americas and the different looks of it, it is true that the Vikings did come. They came as early as the year 1000. But even with Vikings was a blended group. They didn't look like the TV show that you see on the History Channel. There was a blended group. There had been melanated people traveling from one hemisphere to the other hemisphere for 100 or more thousands of years. So this place was never the new land. It was the old land.
Turtle
When
Island.
those Europeans came and started writing about it, whether it be Portuguese, whether it be Spanish, they wasn't surprised by the people that they saw. I mean, they knew these dark melanated people were here. And so it was just about conquering. That was the only difference. It was like, now we don't want to trade with you anymore. We want to take it. So, and so that was the change that happened in the 1400s.
Yeah, and people look for Atlantis. There was a tribe and a people over here that were Atlanteans.
And they still here.
And they're still here.
You can go down 85 and find them. It's crazy because Atlanta is still here. The old city of Memphis is still here, and it still sits on the river.
Right.
So you just have been taught through ignorance to overlook who you really are and to really understand that where you're at. Yeah, there was a fountain of youth. Go look at your grandma. See, don't she look younger than what she's supposed to be? I mean, these stories have been weaved into something mystical when they was talking about something very real.
Facts. All right, fellas, we're gonna wrap this up. Another awesome show. Another, we doing what we do. The three-headed monster. Hey, again, we only giving you information. If you take it or you don't take it, we ain't gonna argue with you. You ain't hurting our feelings. So we still gonna keep pressing on, and I think that's the thing about us is we still gonna keep going, no matter if you like it or not. I appreciate the people who do tune in. We do have a following in South Africa. Peace out to brothers and sisters in Africa that are tuning in to us. Thank you, and everything. So,
yo, man, I thought that was a scammer.
What?
One of them sent me a friend request.
I can't say that it is or not. But get your last words out, Tut, since you talking about somebody scamming your
ass. King Tut, man, I'll be born, build or destroy, man. We build with positivity and we destroy the negativity, man. That's how we add on.
All right. I'm gonna get mine out. Let Jerome be, system kind words he always start off with. We let him finish, but I guess I appreciate everybody being on. We will tell you to, again, I still tut words all the time. Know thyself, understand thyself, and believe in thyself. Nothing else, but believe in thyself, which is you and your inner you. Understand who you are as a person and believe in that. So, again, appreciate everybody. Come on, appreciate your brothers for, it takes a lot of courage to come out here and, push this information out on on a regular like we do. So thank you, brothers, for actually taking the time out just to even share it. So I'm out. Go ahead, Jerome. Finish off. Send us on home, Hank Aaron.
Well, again, like I said, to recap what everybody said, we're very appreciative that you would take out your time just to listen to us speak, listen to us have a conversation, because this is all it is. It's a conversation. Trying to spark something in your mind. And we don't mind having a conversation with anybody that wants to sit down with us. So, our doors are always open for conversation. And that's all it is. We don't debate, because you don't have to debate facts. So, anytime that, anybody wants to be on this, you're more than welcome. So to close it out, man, I want to say to everybody out there, study. Ignorance is not a level of intelligence. Ignorance is just a lack of information. You can solve it very quickly by studying. You can solve it very quickly by searching it out for yourself. You can solve it very quickly by sitting down with those with the knowledge, the knowledge base that you can tap into. So, man, y'all have a beautiful night. Peace.